Hello, I am going to show you how to create a Nearpod lesson with a slide deck that you have already created in Google Slides. And so today I have pulled a lesson from Learn Zillion, which is a third grade lesson on the Mona Lisa, and it's about the Mona Lisa caper. And so what I did was I went to the Learn Zillion site and I pulled the lesson straight from Learn Zillion, and I took each of the slides that they have and I incorporated them into a Google slideshow for my students, and it is exactly word for word what was on their slide. And then I am going to take this and I am going to upload it into a Nearpod lesson. So when you go to take a slideshow and put it into Nearpod, you have to remember that these are simply images. Yes, you can manipulate them when you're in Google Slides, but once you incorporate them into Nearpod, it is going to basically take a screenshot of each one of these slides. So anything that you want to do to it, you need to do it now. So I did add one slide here that will be whenever the students are looking at the Nearpod, this is going to indicate over here. Whenever Nearpod shows up, there's a little icon right here for them to take notes. And so that is that slide there. And then I am going to, when I get it into Nearpod, I will add some activity slides in between these other slides. So let's go ahead and we're going to go to nearpod.com. I've already got my Nearpod open and I just logged in with Google. And when it pops up, you probably don't have very many Nearpods, if any. So this might be the only thing that is on your screen right here. And you are going to have the opportunity to do two different things. You can either create a lesson in Google Slides or you can create a Nearpod lesson in Nearpod. So I recommend the lesson in Nearpod right here, this one that I'm hovering over, because when you do the Google Slides option, you lose some of the capability of being able to do the different activities that Nearpod has, one of those being voiceover. And so I recommend that you go from Nearpod. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to click lesson in Nearpod, and then this screen pops up. So to get started, we have to pull our slideshow in from slides. And so I'm going to go right down here to the bottom of the screen where it says drag and drop. Now, if you have it open already, you can actually drag a PowerPoint and drop it right there. But ours is in Google. So we're going to go right here to upload, and it gives us the option right here to upload from our drive. So I'm going to pick that. Then it pops up and it's searching through my drive to see all available activities that could possibly be incorporated in here. And I'm going to slide down, and this is the one that I'm wanting right here. So I'm going to select that, and then I'm going to click select, and it's going to ask me, do I want individual slides or do I want it in a PDF viewer? Well, I want individual slides so that the students can go through just like a regular slideshow. So it's going to think about pulling this in, and then you will notice over here on the right-hand side that there is a file processing. It takes just a few moments for this to pop in. It's processing, transferring all of those, making them images, and pulling it into our Nearpod lesson. So give me just a second for that to happen. Here we go. Okay, so now you see that we have our slides just like we had our slide deck before. And we are now going to start adding some things into our slideshow. So I'm going to zoom in so that you can see what I'm looking at. This first one here is just our opening. This is going to be the student. Hey, remember, you can start your student notes. I am going to add a review activity, but we're going to do that in a minute. And then this slide will be, this is what we're doing today. This slide is what you're going to need. Now, obviously, the students don't have a copy of the Mona Lisa book caper, but I have the outside cover of that because that's what they're going to need to look at. So right here is the let's read option. And so this would be kind of a precursor to when they're actually doing the activity. And it's kind of preparing them. But on this very next slide, it says, listen while I read. The Mona Lisa caper out loud. Well, if this is not a live lesson and the teacher is doing this for the students and she's not in the room, like how we're teaching now, what we're going to do is you can actually do a voiceover on this image. And so I'm going to double click on that and pull that up. And so here is my slide that I'm looking at. And right down here in the audio, I can click record audio or audio recorder. And then I can click that and I can actually read the story to my students while they're listening to me read. Now, unfortunately, there's no way for them to see the individual images because I couldn't find the book online without having to pay for it for this demonstration. But if you did have access to the online book, you certainly could take images of that book. Or if you have the actual book, the teacher can take images, take snapshots of the pages, and as each page comes up, she could put that page on the screen and then read it to her students. But this is what the students are going to be doing while she's reading the book, is thinking about who is telling the story, and then what might the Mona Lisa's point of view be in regards to being taken from the Louvre. So they're going to actually take notes in their student note taker area while the teacher is reading about this book. So I'm going to show you how to do the audio. It says, do you want to allow your microphone? So it's waiting, and then I can click here to start recording. So I'm going to start recording. Hello, I just wanted to show a demo of how you can do a voiceover in Nearpod on any slide that is an image. So then you can go back and listen. So I just wanted to show a demo of how you can do a voiceover in Nearpod on any slide that is an image. So as you can see, I have that slide voiced over. And so now I'm going to say save, and it is going to upload that onto that slide. And then I'm going to say save and exit. And it is going to take me back to my main slideshow. And then that one slide is now going to pop in right here. It's processing that slide, and it's going to have that voiceover down there on it. So the next thing that I want to do is over here, it says, let's work with words. And the image says, what is a patriot? Well, instead of just being able to ask that question because we're doing distance learning, we need to have another type of slide. So I'm going to add an activity, which is going to be an open-ended question. And I am going to ask my students, what is a patriot? And then in your own words, describe what you think a patriot is. Period. And so then I could add an image over here for a certain type of prompt, like an image for a prompt for them. There was a flag on the slide previous to this. I could add that same flag. I could also, for those students that cannot type, I can enable down here student audio recording. So if the student has a way to record on their device, which if they're doing this on a phone, they can actually record their answers instead of typing their answers. And then that allows the teacher to be able to hear their answer. And that's also a modification for any SPED students that can't type or don't have the dexterity to do that. So I'm going to click save on this particular question. And so now we have an open-ended question here. I'm going to drag that open-ended question and put it right there next to that one. And then right here, we have another question that I do want them to answer. It says, do you think Vincino Perugia was being a patriot when he stole the Mona Lisa or not? Use text evidence to support your answer. So those students are going to have to use information from the text that the teacher just read to be able to support their answer for this particular question. So I'm going to go back and I'm going to add another open-ended question right here. And I'm going to say, open this question. Now, what I'm going to do instead of retyping all that is I'm going to go back to my original slideshow and I'm going to come over here and I am going to copy this question. And then I'm going to come back to my Nearpod and I'm just simply going to paste that into my question. And then right here where it says add reference, I am going to select to add an image. And I have an image saved in my drive. I'm going to hope that it allows me to find that particular image that I'm wanting. It is not allowing me to find that image. I'm going to have to go in and save that image as a PDF because it's not letting me pull that image in right now. So I will do that in a moment. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to save this, save. And then my question is going to pop up there. I'm going to put that right here. Now on this particular, where is it? Okay, right here on this particular thing, it's asking us to examine the cover and then focus. And then it says use the optics handout to record your thoughts. So I am going to discard those changes. Oh, yes, I want to discard those because I didn't change anything. So I am going to add a slide. And I want to add a question. No, I want to add a draw it. So I'm going to add a draw it. And I am going to pull in that optic page. Let's see where that optic page is. Of course, I have to go through everything that is in my drive. Oh, here it is right here. So this is the optic page that the students will use to write on, and they will actually be able to highlight, like to type in there on their screen. So I'm going to say save. And then we're going to drag that draw it up to, oh, I need to add something else to the draw it. Okay, right up here, it allows me to add a reference, and I want to add an image. So now I'm going to need to put instructions on this slide. So I'm going to go back to my original slideshow that has these three topics: control, copy. And I'm going to go back to my Nearpod and I'm going to say control V. And so then my students see that they are supposed to examine the cover image of the Mona Lisa caper. And I'm going to say to the left. And then focus on the action of the man and then use your optics to record the information. And so I'm going to come down here and say save. That gives them the cover and it gives them their document that they're supposed to work on. Now I want to come back up here to the review. So when they first start the lesson, they review what they did the day before. So what I'm going to do is I am going to add a quick little quiz to this particular Nearpod. And instead of having to type out those questions, I am going to go into my drive where the information is for this lesson. And this is the document that they filled out the day before. And I am simply going to cut and paste into my Nearpod the questions. And I'm going to add another question. I'm going to go back. Whoops, wrong thing. I'm going to go back and I'm going to cut and paste. Control copy. Control paste. And of course, when you do control paste, you have to clean it up just a little bit to where it looks normal. And on this, the information that we got yesterday or that we used yesterday, it actually kind of gives the answer away. On this particular one, it's talking about the types of treasure. So I am going to change this word pirate to people so that it doesn't give it away so easily. And then down here, artifacts from, I'm going to change this and take out from the Titanic. And I'm going to just say these artifacts. These artifacts are considered to be treasures. People will pay a museum to get a chance to see these items. I'm going to take out from the Titanic so that it doesn't make it so obvious. Okay, so now I have to put some choices in here. Oh, I have one more. I'm going to go back and get that last one. If it'll let me copy it, control copy, and then back into my Nearpod. I'm going to add another question. Go here, control V. Remember, clean it up so that it makes sense to the kids. And it's all nice and neat and straight. Okay, so this says art is considered to be a treasure. And I'm going to say this is considered to be a treasure because it is a window of life into the past. Also, I'm going to change this to it, is not replaceable if lost or damaged because famous people, let's say the famous people, that created it have been dead for a long time. Okay, so now we have to add the choices. So I'm going to start with art treasure, and then pirate treasure, and then I'm going to add an option here, and we talked about sunken treasure yesterday. And then I have to choose. The first one was pirate. The second one, and we're going to do this again. Add another art treasure, pirate treasure. And then this one is sunken treasure because it was about the thing. And so then last but not least, and then art treasure is going to be the right answer. And then add another choice. And this is the. Okay, so now that quickly we have our quiz, and we're going to say save. And of course, it's going to put it at the end of our Nearpod again. So we're going to need to drag it up to where we want it in our Nearpod. We want it to go right here after let's review. So now, instead of us just having the blank canvas of the guidebooks lesson where the teacher is standing up there and talking to the students, we have this lesson, and we're going to preview it so that we can see what it looks like. And this is the opening, and then it's remember, and then like I said, the student view, it's going to show you over here that little window. And then the next one, let's review, which talks about what we learned. And then we're going to take the quiz on the Nearpod. This is what the quiz looks like, and they would select it. It does collect all of this data. Then it says, okay, today we will, and the teacher can voice over on these things here and read these to the students if she chooses to. This is the things that the students were going to need. Okay, so let's read. Now it's telling them this is what we're going to start doing. And before we get started reading, I want you to focus on this. They can pull this up and look at it. They can close it. They can shrink this little thing here. They would go down here. They can push type, and they can type over in here. They can use the pencil, and they can actually write in here if they chose. If they chose to. They could even annotate, where they can highlight on the screen if it was a document that they needed to highlight on. They could insert an image, or they can erase something that they messed up on. So all I have to do is erase that, and it goes away. So then let's go to the next one. It shows them this. We can push play. Hello, I just wanted to show a demo of how you can do a voiceover in Nearpod on any slide that is an image. So as you can see, it recorded exactly what I asked it to. And so we're going to go to the next one. Okay, so this is our Let's work with words. What is a patriot? So it goes in, it asks them the open-ended question. They can type in their answer right there about what they think a patriot is. Then we go on, it says express your understanding. So they've read the book. The teacher has read the book to them. Now they have to do this. They go on to the next slide. Here's another open-ended question. And this is where they show that they've understood and that they were paying attention, because they're using examples from the text to show why they think he was or was not a patriot. And then it goes to the closing. It talks to them about what she was hoping that they get from this lesson. So that is how to upload your slideshow into Nearpod. And I have recorded this entire lesson with something called Screencastify. So I am also going to make a Screencastify video to show you exactly how to use Screencastify.